Today's sponsors are Angelo's Interiors, specialising in kitchens, bedrooms and bathrooms. Go and visit their showroom today in Gillingham. Their web address is angelosinteriors.com. And DiMedici Associates, Chartered Structural and Civil Engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on dimediciassociates.com. Welcome to the Cherrywood Podcast with me, Rachel Burridge.
And the delightful and exquisite Simon Burridge.
No, there's Rainbow. You haven't written Rainbow?
No, I haven't written Rainbow.
Rainbow! Oh, you can't see me. There you go. Rainbow Part 1.
See?
Part 1?
Why part 1?
Because you're going to have me back. Everyone always does. I
Oh,
want to.
God. I'd rather have Zippy and Bungle back from Rainbow. And did you say your name?
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Do you want me to?
It's got your name written on it. Oh, don't
Listen,
worry.
you didn't pre-plan with me all of
I'd
this.
assumed you'd seen the podcast.
Assumption is the mother of all. Okay?
I assume you had seen
Well,
the
I
podcast.
got taught.
Right, we have Mr. Darren Halton here.
Thank you, sir.
Before we start out, how long?
Well, I saw how you nearly smacked it and broke it and literally hammered it to the wall. So I'm going to go a good half an hour.
Half hour, so 30 minutes.
30 minutes,
Starting
yeah.
from now.
Should we sit here and watch it for 30 minutes?
That was really loud in your ear, wasn't it, when you did that?
Right, got a guest, good friend of mine. Oh, good friend of mine.
Oh,
Debatable.
friend.
Debatable.
Friend.
Mr. Darren Halton from Rainbow Restorations.
Because I don't get this wrong.
Right, it used to be Rainbow International.
So we changed over the last couple of years. We changed. So we were originally Rainbow International partnership with ISS. We then decided the brand needed more from us. So we actually bought out ISS. So now, me being a franchisor and several others, we now actually own Rainbow. And we've now become Rainbow. Then we went to Rainbow International. So they wanted for us to get all our nice new branding. Then they changed it to Rainbow Restoration. So now we've got to get new branding, which we have, obviously. But yes, it's been fun. It's been a long road.
We were in Devon between Christmas and New Year, and my wife went, "Look, Darren."
Damn it, you weren't meant to see me. Oh, I knew you must close the curtains before I start looking in. Honestly, idiot.
Yeah, it was a rainbow van. Yeah. I said, "No, it's a franchise, babe. It's a franchise."
I'm all over the world.
Oh, God, poor world.
Already, that's the half hour.
It's a hanging.
Now,
It's a
will it
hanging.
hit the chicken? Will it hit the chicken? The chicken never makes a noise.
Or will it hit our
Or is it going to hold out? It'll hold out for a bit.
I reckon. All
It's
right.
going to hold out. Anyway, in a nutshell, well, you don't have to do it in a nutshell. What is Rainbow Restorations?
So fundamentally, Rainbow originated in America, part of a family group who now pretty much cover all of America. They started off as fire and flood, but then in that concept, they then become builders and contractors and different stuff, removals and that. And they decided as a family to bring it over to England and franchise it. And I believe, so they're Dwyer Group in America. Now, when they brought it over here, and I'm probably...
And there we go.
Unbelievable. That was only 7 minutes.
It hit the chicken, but the chicken did not make it.
7
That was
minutes.
probably the worst exaggeration of the time, though, wasn't it?
I doubt that.
Half an hour and it happened in like 2 minutes.
Did Giorgio said it a time and it didn't fall off?
Oh, that's very true.
Yeah, but that just
And he went on for about 5 hours.
Oh, did he really?
About an hour and 40.
Oh,
the record
gee.
is Paul Hill's, 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've only got parking for 4 and I've already had an hour. So.
And you've had enough.
I've had enough.
So carry on.
But yeah, so
Sorry.
then I believe, and I'm sure this is true. I'm probably going to get fact checked later. But the family at that time, they took the first letter from everyone's first name and they amalgamated it, and it spelled out Rainbow. Hence the reason Rainbow. So Rainbow has been around a lot longer before the official flags became a totally different status and everything else. So that's how we were always called Rainbow. And yeah, then it got brought over, broken into parts. But the sole part of Rainbow was purely for restoration, fires and floods. And then over that, with the umbrella of that, we have to be able to remove contents. So then we get trained in contents removals. Then we restore contents, so French polishing, portable appliance testing. Then it moves on from that. As a structure being damaged, then you get to asbestos. And so our technicians and anyone that owns a franchise is we have sort of monthly exams.
Sorry.
Oh, Simon, trying to scare us here.
Just swapping my coffee over.
Oh, second coffee of the morning. Oh, blimey.
sorry.
Cool. I'm that boring.
No, go on.
But no, that's it. So what it went from in its essence of starting was it's now massive. It's huge. I mean, it's very easy when people say, what do you do? The actual reality is we do everything, and it's probably easier to tell you what we don't do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trained to work in confined spaces underground. I'm at height up in the air. You know, I can do pretty much everything and anything. I came up through the trades before I joined the Rainbow family and stuff like that. And
Right. So go on.
I was going to say, you must have to have training in so many different areas to be able to deal with so many different areas.
Our head office send us a training manual sort of once a month. So every year we have 12.
Yeah.
On top of that, we also, I'm BDMA, so British Disaster Management Association. So I have to accumulate points as well per year for that to keep that going, which also means I have to take exams and do things and stuff like that. So in a year, I can do 50, 60 exams plus.
Wow.
And in training, anytime our training runs out, retrain or something, or you phone me up and say, oh, could you do this? And actually, no, I can't, but I know a man who can. But however, I'm now going to go and do the training
for it. So you can be selective over some of the training that you do, or do you have to do the training?
So the bare basic sort of Rainbow is fire and flood. So it's the restoration of the building and the drying and that aspects and the cleaning and that. So they're sort of your branch. But outside of that, it's an open book. You can do whatever you want, whatever supports you, supports the clients and everything else. So which is then led on to, and because floods can be a river, so you get wheels disease and different contaminants. And please stop swimming in the flooded waters around your house. That isn't clean water. I mean, seriously.
I did that as a kid.
I could think
that explains a lot.
The old semi-detached houses used to have the path. Well, most houses have the pathway around the back. That all flooded in my neighbours, and we swam in that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Did your water fountain out in Mount?
Oh, I didn't put it in my mouth. No.
Well,
no, I don't think I did.
Yeah, but so you must have.
It's not affected by it,
no effects on you whatsoever. None at all. He obviously doesn't know, Rachel. We won't tell him. But yeah, it's highly contaminated water because you've got to remember that water flooding into these houses contains oils, car fluids, human fluids of all sorts, and then obviously animals and carcasses. And you can imagine, again, Rachel's turning her face up straight away.
Rachel's got a thing for shit.
Are we allowed to swear on this?
Yes.
Brilliant.
You're allowed to swear.
You're allowed to swear.
That could be a really
we don't want to go too mental with the old swearing.
Maybe not the C-bomb, but...
No C-bombs.
Oh, well, that's me and Tony's discussions out then, unfortunately.
We want to get Tony in.
Oh, you need to. Master
he comes
Gibbons.
into your house and he's swearing.
Oh, he's terrible.
We had friends with kids and he's like, all right, punk. Like, oh, hello.
Yeah, well, I must admit.
I love you, Tone. You're funny.
Mr. T is the only one that's actually not allowed, but gets away with using the C-bomb. My wife 100% hates the word. Absolutely, chastises me. And yet she's actually now said the word on several occasions, and it's all featured from him.
So he's late
because he's put it into the word terminology of our family.
Let's talk about the C-bomb, mate, shall we?
No,
talk about the C-bomb. I'm there at the altar.
This is true.
And they go, okay, everyone, that's the end of the ceremony. You may now kiss your bride. Okay, I go to kiss her, give her a kiss. Bang, C-bomb, straight away, she said to me. She wanted to be the first to say it as husband and wife.
So I got in there.
Nice.
So, I think there's highlights of our wedding online, and you can see the kiss,
like
and you can see, you just see her little mouth going.
There was no you before it or anything.
Oh, no,
it was
just
the
that
word.
Just drop the whole word in.
So I'm not going to lie.
It's a misunderstood word because it's actually quite beautiful, isn't it?
I love it.
I call my best friends it.
Yep.
And I call my worst enemies it. It's a perfect word.
It's a perfect word.
But you
any
can really,
situation, any person.
You can throw it at someone. You can really really spit at someone with it. So.
Yeah.
And
and at the end of the day, it's a word, isn't it?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it's a word.
And as we probably know from our our youth, sticks and stones will actually hurt you and break your bones. But the words really, come on, generation, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But I can actually do it in sign language as well, because I've done a course on sign language, and I've got like a little thing that says, you pass it. So I can actually sign language it to you as well.
You don't need to. Don't feel you need to.
I won't.
I'll do it under the table for you.
Yeah. And I'll say, that's a big...
And that's the only one I know.
But it's very similar to boat. So boat and that word are very similar in sign language.
So you don't want to talk to fishermen.
you have to be very careful. Boat and something else.
We had a good catch today.
Really educated chat we're having today.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. What has happened?
That has literally gone from business all the way down to the seaboard.
All the way down. I don't even know where we got onto Tony.
We got
on to
dirty water.
We got onto the fact that
dirty water
Yes,
and stuff like that. So, but we call it in the industry black water. And then because we obviously have to have all the injections and everything else covers us for hepatitis and AIDS and HIV and all the other lovely stuff
Legionnaires and all that.
Legionnaires that could be floating around and doing all the stuff he does, and some of the jobs we do. We then obviously train in blood because that's the higher part of a contaminant. Infections and all that then leads us on to, and I'm one franchise in South East that deals with traumas via KCC, Kent County Council, and my guys, and we've been out a couple of days this week already, not a way to start the new year, but we deal with that quite extreme aspect of it because we are fundamentally a specialised cleaning company. We used to have a tech who hated the word as a cleaner, and he refused to go in houses when he would hear someone go, "Oh, well, cleaners are here." He said, "Well, I'm not clean, I'm a technician. I'm not going in." So, we obviously he left many years ago. Joe Lawford, if you're listening. But yeah, he was brilliant, that guy. But yeah, so that's another aspect of what we do. And again, it really does emphasise we do everything. Absolutely everything.
Now, I was talking to you a bit before we started recording about traumas and that. We're not going to go into any full details of stuff that you've done, but you've done some horrific.
Yes.
You've cleaned up you've done some horrific stuff. Not you personally. You've cleaned up some horrific stuff. And I know my dad did it when I was literally a baby. And my mum said it affected him so much. He was clearing up suicides and things like that.
Yep.
So do you have counselling involved? Does the Rainbow supply that sort of...
We not Rainbow head office because again it's our franchise. Right. It's your decision if you take that industry on. Yeah. So all the guys have speed dial numbers that they've got charity and free phone numbers to call and counselling and all that. It's all offered out to them if they want to take it up. Absolutely. It's a bit of a strange one because I don't know when you go to a scene you get almost like that morbid curiosity and sort of adrenaline rush and everything else. So going to the scene, you're not thinking too much about it. You're just like, got to get there, got to get this done. And then you get on scene and then you switch into professional mode. And because we've been doing it quite a long time now, and we are quite a reactive company just on what we do. So the mindset is very much just get there and see what's going on. And you did say your phone always goes off.
I turned it off.
Well, clearly not.
You've seen me put it on.
You can't help turning things on. That's the problem.
This is turning into more of a gimmick than the bleeding.
I'm trying to do it so professional
and it
today.
was such a poignant
I'm trying to go so deep. And all I can hear is do.
I can't believe it.
I know. You've got no friends and yet everyone's texting you. It's amazing.
No, it's my mate. He's in hospital at the moment. Had Adam Quinn. I told you to listen to the podcast while he was in hospital. He had a bad heart attack before New Year. Sorry. Just sent me an MR2 write-up.
Clearly suffering.
You're right, Ed.
Well, that wasn't in his little princess one that you gave him.
Sorry,
princess
I'm jumping
comment.
off here. But,
no, it's fine.
He had a really bad heart attack New Year's Eve. I was in Devon at the time, and his wife managed to get him, keep him going. I had to zap him 6 times, bring him back, but he's with us still. So
good man, good heart.
So Simon went to see him the other day, and the only thing they had in the shop was a princess comic.
No, he said he was bored, so I got him a little princess thing that he has to paint.
Yeah, one of those ones.
Do you know what? Sadly, I've got a 7-year-old daughter, and they're brilliant. I love them. They are really, really quite good fun. So yeah, that's not a bad present actually.
Yeah. Anyway,
you like a bit
of humour and everything else.
Go on, carry on, Dale.
Yeah,
so
it's all good. Truly hope he pulls through and he keeps on improving. He's maybe just got to change his lifestyle, obviously.
No, he's got to have a defibrillator. They don't know what it is.
Right. Oh, crikey.
What's wrong with you?
Sorry,
is that a general... Sorry, what's wrong with you? Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
Once again, it's not like us to drift off of conversations.
Yeah, I know.
So we're talking about trauma, weren't we?
Yeah, so again, we deal with suicides, we deal with murders, we deal with death in homes and any other sort of situation like that. But obviously the RTAs and different variations of that. It gives me a bit of closeness. My dad used to be a police officer and he was CID and Met and things like that. So he dealt with that sort of side of it. And I lost my dad 12, 15 years ago now. And for me, when I started doing them, it was quite a strange closeness. It was a bit of a bond. He had passed and it was me sort of treading a little bit in his footsteps. And it was quite a nice thing.
You got a policeman look about you, actually.
I know. Yeah, I used to.
Yes.
Well, yeah, to be honest, I lived in Strood before I moved to Riverview Park, and there's I'm not going to name the pub, but most of them will know it along Western Road. And I went in there one day, and all the guys, the music sort of switched off, and everyone looked round to face me, and I was in my rainbow uniform, and I went to the bar and I got my drink, and a guy next to me went, "So what do you do then?" And I literally had half an hour of quizzing. But obviously, my response is talking genuinely as I do about my job. He figured out very quickly I'm not a copper. and there was obviously this signal of some switch when the music came back on. And everyone was
relaxed a
everyone
bit.
was chatting to me, talking to me. And I was like, this is very strange. And it was the first time I'd ever seen it. But yeah, so I think I could have tried a different occupation. But my dad absolutely categorically said, do not become a police officer. Because the rules have changed so much from when
Paperwork.
old school and all that. And it's now very difficult. It's a very difficult job.
You're the first person they would blame, right?
Oh, every time.
Especially nowadays.
Every time,
everything that's going around in the media, you are now the first point of call that they get blamed on.
Unfortunately, everything's a paperwork exercise, isn't it?
It is.
Not just police, everything.
Well,
risk assessments, method statements.
Yeah,
yes, we understand they've got to be done, but there's probably a quicker way of doing this stuff.
Every time.
And half of this stuff, well, I know for a fact, being an engineer, it's designed by people who don't actually do the job themselves.
Yeah.
So,
Paper pushers.
yeah. Rachel.
Paper pushers.
Yes,
That's what they call them.
Pen pushers.
No, paper. They
Paper or pen pushers?
I would say pen.
Oh, maybe I'll just.
There's another gem. That's another mug and T-shirt. Don't be a paper pusher.
Grab a pen.
The world is full of paper pushers. Anyway, I have a trauma question for you, just to jump completely back to your trauma. Have you had the I can't remember the word for it, but have you ever dealt with a trauma, cleaned up a trauma of someone that you actually get there and you go, I know this person?
Oh God.
Touch wood, no. And I'll also say, I'll say I don't believe so. The trouble is, what we try to do is we'll not find out too much information.
Right. Okay.
Because again, it's, without it sounding harsh,
you've got
it's
to deal
a
with
job.
Yeah, a job.
And what we're thinking about, we're not thinking about the person or people that have passed. We're thinking about the families and everything else. So it goes straight into professional mode.
Yeah.
Get the job done. And to be honest, we don't want the information when we're there because it makes it harder to deal with. Unfortunately, sometimes we find out after the event, and there has been one or two that there is a connection. There has been a connection. It's a far connection, but you can still,
of them.
Ex-wife.
Yeah, not yet. Although she is working on it. No, I love her dearly. That's for all the police officers listening. So, I mean, there was, obviously, we did a recent one. The hard ones for us are the children.
God, yeah.
And I've got a 7-year-old. And you do, even on scene, when you find that information out, it's really difficult to deal with. I obviously recently did one, and it was shown on the news. I then got obviously the information of who it was. And of course, there were certain bits of the scene that I could relate to what they were talking about on the TV. So it became very, very obvious.
Yeah.
How do you sort of stop yourself from taking that home with you and having...
You don't. You just you learn to deal with it.
You learn to deal with it.
You never get rid of it. It just... And I mean, personally, me, I don't lock it up. It's there and I'm happy to talk about it. If you want to hear about it, I've never done that. But I don't know, it's just a mindset. I mean, I'm from a generation where suck it up, shut it up and crack on. You know,
that's always worked, isn't it?
It does. You know, and it makes you stronger as a person. And each one you do, you reach a point and you think, my gosh, I'm broken, but you're not, because it just means you can go a bit further on your breakage.
Yeah.
Because you always will recover if you allow yourself to. For me, I try not to take it home, but as soon as I do get home, I'll give little one a cuddle. I actually might tell the wife I love her, occasion. Depends.
It's got to be a hell of a job.
It's a hell of a job. The good thing is she probably won't ever listen to this.
Been through some serious shit.
She knows.
Oh my God, what's happening?
When she gets a flower in her card and a kiss and a cuddle, she goes, "Oh, Mom, right, I better phone someone."
God, that was a bad accident.
But yeah, so it makes me very thankful for what I've got for my life. I think that's probably that again, with everything in life, you can take the real negative from everything. There's only a few people now that will always be able to take a positive from a really bad situation. I think I'm one of these lucky people that I can turn it and say, well, do you know what? Yes, that was hell for me. They don't know about it, but guess what I actually got? Well, look, I'm coming home to this little girl. I'm coming home to a home. You know, I'm not got drying machines going 24/7 in my house. So I haven't lost all my memories and stuff in a house fire.
Yeah.
And it actually makes you really grateful. And I think a lot of people in this modern day forget and don't get that pleasure, that option of actually seeing what they really do have at the core
I think
of their
everything's
lives.
so fast-paced nowadays as well, isn't it? That
Blink, you miss it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I just think sometimes it just takes 2 minutes just to actually sit down, sit still, and appreciate what you actually do have in life sometimes.
Absolutely.
Any of your employees say outright, I can't do that, Darren?
There's always an option, and they all know that. Generally, no. Because, again, when the call comes in, you're not thinking about what you're going to do. You're thinking about, right, we need to do this because nobody can do it as good as us. And again, that's everyone's philosophy. But we are very good. We're very careful. I mean, I've had the stories about jet washers going to scenes and stuff like that by different companies. We have never, ever done that, and we will never do that because we believe if you've got clear, you use the empathy, you know, you use
respect,
more delicate means and all that lot. You know, you don't just wash a human way of life away. You don't do that. You know, you care, you work with it, you support it, and you do that, and that's our philosophy. But the guys know they've never. I mean, several techs have come and gone in the past now, and we've all done it. Nobody's ever turned a job down. But there has been harsh jobs.
Can I ask, are you picking bodies up yourself, or are they being taken away and you're clearing up?
I mean, we can go as extreme. I don't know how. Let's maybe put a censorship on the listeners if you want to turn off now. You're more than welcome to. But in theory, yes, I've picked up several bodies and several parts.
Don't have to go into detail.
Generally, that doesn't happen. Normally, the private ambulance takes it away, and the police normally open the scene once. Most of it's gone, but obviously
stuff
depends on how it's what's happened. There could be aspects and things. I mean, we've had some again, it depends on what world you live in. I mean, we went to a scene where a guy, unfortunately, I don't know if I can do it, got decapitated.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Unfortunately, his brain came out, and the private ambulance and us and the police officers were walking up and down this lane for about 4 hours trying to find the brain.
Oh, God.
2 hours after the ambulance had left, this guy in a carrier bag wandered down the lane and said, what do I do with this?
Oh, my God.
And he had picked the brain up, gone shopping.
Oh, my God.
And then came back to the scene knowing that somebody would be there. And then once we took the bag and called up, he then just wandered off back into, and this was just down a country lane, there was nothing either end. It was like a 20, 30-minute drive.
Gone shopping with a brain.
He'd gone to the shops. He'd picked this brain up and just gone. And
I'll
so
save that
again, so there is sometimes you do. Again, you can laugh about it a little bit. It can lighten what could be devastating.
Yes,
you've got to laugh about it.
You do.
I know for a fact firemen have got to laugh about it as well. And people say they're sick laughing about it. These people are going witnessing so much.
Yeah.
So much. And they've got to turn it into a joke.
They see so much more than I
When
do.
you're in the army, same thing.
Yeah.
You've got to turn it into that. And it's the comments that people make against them that have never been in that situation.
Exactly. You've got to have a disconnect.
Yeah.
You've got to have an outreach, and again, everyone deals with it differently. Like Jo has started to ask me questions about jobs, but then she also knows if I walk in, there's a certain expression, or she knows I'm locked up a little bit, and she won't even ask. You just, are you all right? Yep, good. And the day just cracks on. She just knows, just leave me alone.
Now, was she really curious to start with?
Again, it's that morbid curiosity. Every human has it, and this is, I think the trouble is, so many people deny what is actually part of them, and they say, no, that's unacceptable, I shouldn't want to know that, therefore I don't want to know that. Actually, I do.
Well, I think, if you go back, 1,000 years, 500 years, 300 years, people are used to it then. That curiosity was there. It wasn't there. It was in your face. That you didn't need that curiosity as much back then because you were used to it.
But they teach stuff like that to kids in history this year. Not this year. They teach like
look
the
at horrible histories.
Yes,
horrible histories talk about. Oh, yeah, did they cut off? Oh, did he?
So it's just setting up children for that.
My daughter. So again, she has an idea because again, I went out. At sort of 3 o'clock in the morning yesterday, and the guys went out this morning at sort of 6. I don't have a regular pattern of hours. My days are just crazy. So sometimes I'm meant to be doing a bath and settle for my daughter, and suddenly a phone call will go, and she'll go, "Daddy, is it a fire, a flood, or is it a cut?"
Oh, bless.
She knows. So I've explained just enough so she can understand. And if someone's had a cut, Daddy might have to go. She doesn't ask any more questions. She doesn't need to know anymore.
Do you remember his daughter?
But she's aware.
Cutest little thing.
So
she's aware.
We haven't seen her for a while because for people listening at home or watching, Darren acted in the Tab Theory.
He did.
I was that really good barman who did about 12 seconds.
You did 12 seconds on camera, Dal.
But I was a good barman.
You were there all day.
So we filmed
16 hours.
We filmed the Tab Theory. We filmed the end scene. Well, it was the end scene, wasn't it, roughly?
Yeah, pretty much.
At a social club, Strood Social Club. Big up the old Strood Community Club or whatever it's called. Higham, sorry, why am I saying Strood?
I was going to say, I don't know where you were because I weren't at that pub.
Forgive me, Strood. Yeah, so forgive me, Higham. Higham Community Club, wasn't it? Or Higham?
It was, no. Social Club.
No, it's called something else. Anyway, we filmed it there and they were brilliant there. And we told them that Darren's going to be a barman, and we were serving drinks there and everyone was eating and drinking while filming. He's working behind the bar.
I actually took. I'm a method actor, so I actually took it fully on. I was working both bars, getting drinks, taking cash.
I looked over once and he's cleaning it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And his
I take pride in a job. If you want a job doing, I will do it right.
His scene was to serve a couple of drinks in the background and to take a pool ball to the face, sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yes, but somebody couldn't throw very well.
Who was throwing that? It wasn't me.
No. It was
you.
Yeah. Because it took about 30 or 40 takes for her to actually get the ball, between that massive great gap of the bar and the pumps. And I simply had to act shocked. But trying to act shocked after not seeing a ball hit you 20 plus times after 16 hours of film, it was a little bit like, right, I'm just going to go, oh, Jesus.
But that's a good little scene, that.
Do you know what I loved? I loved it. Because a lot of people don't realise as well that the ball that actually is thrown is a sponge ball.
Yeah.
Which reacts totally different to a proper ball.
It's a ball pit ball, it was. But
and
I don't know if you noticed, that actress, Kira, because I used to call her Shakira, didn't I? Just to remember it, Kira. Hello, Kira.
Hello.
I watched her just before we were shooting, and she was just throwing this up, this ball.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden, she was throwing it up and giving it weight.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh, when she was filming,
she was throwing it up and giving it weight, which is really because so we had an extra pool table next to yellow, like proper yellow pool balls, and she had this ballpark ball, same colour, but I could see her working it out. I know this has got to be heavier. It was amazing the way she did it. So
imagine if she picked up the wrong one and threw it.
Oh, that'd been better.
Then I would have. Then my words of Jesus and darting out the way was.
But she would have missed. Rachel would have missed anyway.
Unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
She was throwing it.
Unbelievable. But I really enjoyed it. It was just quite amusing. It was just good fun. And again, I really enjoyed it, especially knowing that you were paying at the bar. So many people got free drinks.
I did put a tabby on it.
You did. It didn't last very long.
Yeah.
But
no, I didn't. It was limitless, Dale. It was limitless. I paid
you paid at the end. You paid at the end.
It was really cheap as well.
Because I did all serving. I didn't take any tips.
We didn't give the barman.
But no, I really enjoyed it. No, well, talking about my acting, I studied at Rose Bruford in Sidcup,
right
towards Orpington. And that was a 5-year course run by Tony James. I'm trying to remember now. You're talking 10 years ago plus now. And that was during my life cycle of Rainbow. And again, being a 24/7 company and then trying to fit in the acting. And I had many a breakdown before I went on stage going, I can't do this. I can't learn all these lines. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I survived the course. I was only one of about 10 people out of like 40 or 50 that
lasted the 5 years.
I lasted the 5 years, did that. I did a great scene, Ray Winston from 44-inch Chest, where he's got the young fella sat in a chair and he's talking about his wife and how this bloke's having his end away with his wife. And of course I had to do that scene. And yeah, it went really well. And it was quite amusing. I can understand the mental struggles actors and actresses have now because you do have to get so locked into a character. And I became this really, it was just totally not me, this character. He was so angry, so upset, so frustrated, so violent. I used to have to really psych myself up. And when I come off stage, I was just shaking. And all the other actors would just ignore me. I just sat down in the corridor and they just walked past and ignored until I came down, sorted myself back out, returned to Darren. Yeah. And then everyone was, great job, brilliant, and all that lot. But you just don't realise how in deep you are. You just become this person, you switch it on, blah, blah, blah. But it does explain why child actors have such a hard time of it.
Absolutely.
And go through it. And that's why I've not had any decent parts, apart from the tab theory, obviously. It's because I'm not ready for it. I want to be an older actor when life's a bit easier, when I've got more time, when, everything's
kids are grown up
done.
a bit.
Yeah. And doesn't need to be too embarrassed.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And the tab theory was the first time I have acted, really. Yeah.
And you were brilliant.
I was just myself, but in a bit more of a camp way.
I wouldn't say a bit more.
But I mean, even though we weren't acting as such, well, you were a little bit. Those 2 days that we were there, we went home and we couldn't sleep, could we? Because it was just constantly playing on our minds. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. Have we done this bit? Have we done? Well, so we didn't sleep for about 3 days.
I lost 6 months. 6 months where it was just tab theory.
Yeah.
And it affected us a little bit, didn't it? And I look back at messages that I sent to Rach for 6 months and they were just all tab theory.
Yeah.
All tab theory. And I'll never do that again. Never do that again because I was editing day and night.
Well, that's a shame. All you need to do is do a different way.
Just got to treat
you as a writer, your script was brilliant. The concept was brilliant. The people you got involved in it, brilliant.
I agree. I think the people that
I think you really do need to look at that more. And that's just me just trying to get an extra
barman
acting in. Yeah.
We should have you in every shot, but
I might step it up this time. I might do some lines.
We could have someone kick a ball.
Yeah, my pup.
You're walking your dog. Still the same barman walking your dog. Someone angrily kicks a stone and Jesus.
That's the only line you'll ever say.
We should do that
while I'm wiping the dog down.
We should do that. That'd be a laugh. Have Darren in it. Jesus, every episode.
That could be my theme.
Yeah. Like I say, I've shot the ending of it. I've got the ending of it's either the ending. Oh, we mentioned this before, haven't we? People are going to be bored, keep listening to this, but I do have the ending. But all the stuff in between is just open, really. But it's it's if I didn't need money, if I had nothing else on, and I was like, I'll finish it. But it has to be because it's been left now. 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, it was COVID.
People are getting older, like I said.
Yeah, but I mean, Star Wars original, they messed it up by bringing new versions in, but there was quite a time distance between them.
What I'm trying to say is it was left open at the end of them. We need to make a plan. So the next episode should be the day after. But it can't be.
Well, no, not necessarily.
I know.
I've always said to you can skip 3 years
later.
I was going to say,
and then you can bring it back.
Because, again, nothing changes overnight. So we've got to, he's invisible. How's he going to change his life? What's going to happen? All the rest of it.
Yeah.
How's he going to make tons of money? So one is he now got his own shop and his own acting school, and nobody can actually still figure out how the heck he gets.
Yeah. There's a few things like
loads of options.
He storms out of the toilet at the end, and
in Higham Social Club.
The other one, the scientist,
Yeah.
says we need to make a plan. Now that scientist, we could say 3 years later, and he's not seen him since.
No.
Yeah.
Because we all know what the.
Well, I
what's
fancy a
happening.
holiday in Barbados, so maybe one of the scenes could be there, and obviously I could be behind the bar there making cocktails. That's fine for me.
Yeah.
Done.
I'll have a think about it, but it all costs money at the end of the day.
Well, when we're millionaires.
Time and money. If I've got the time and money, I'll think about it.
Well, I always think about stuff like this, and I mean, I always wanted to do acting, and I love it. I'm just quite an outgoing person. I do have a lot of energy, so it was sort of a good path for me. But now I've got my daughter, I sort of really think about when I've gone, I want my daughter to be able to see her dad. And like home movies aren't done anymore. They're done on phones.
Yep.
And it's all in the cloud, and it disappears, and it can go. And if one day the computers take over and decide we're not going to show any photos and videos, you've lost everything, right? Whereas home videos on these little VHS cassettes and all that lot, quality's terrible, but you can still get the person, or films that are still being made and all that lot. So for me, I'm very much about, I want Arabella to sort of see her dad, but obviously wouldn't see her dad, something different, but go be proud and go, oh, that's my dad.
Do you know what I've done? I don't know if I've shared this with you, have I?
Oh, me?
Breaking news, guys, breaking news.
I'm interested.
I've got a file, so if anything happens to me, Rachel goes to the file.
Oh,
to
I know
delete
that.
it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not that one. Right.
And
Clear history.
when Tilly used to go to bed, I used to sing her at the same nursery rhyme, maybe a couple of different nursery rhymes every night. I've put a 360 camera on her bed.
Oh, yeah, I did know that.
And filmed it.
Right.
So she can lay back to where she was, put the old VR set on, and I'm there singing.
But it's not so much for her, it'll be for her kids.
Her kids,
your grandkids.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
This is my grand.
And I'm the same mindset, because there's a certain song I've adapted, unfortunately, and I do apologise to Arabella, because one day she's going to be in school and probably have to sing a song, and she's going to sing my version, and it's not it's going to go really wrong. But Kumbaya and stuff like that, I sing to her, and it's our little thing of a night time.
That's exactly what me and Tilly used to do.
I've actually said to Daisy about recording it, but I might even speak to you guys. But I want to record it, and maybe even with someone playing some music in the background, looking at you, winking at you, Simon. But yeah, so again, for the future, not so much for her, but again, if I was gone tomorrow, she's got that. So again, I'm on that set. Right, I think that's great.
But that's why we say to people as well, I know it sounds really morbid, and this isn't the best topic of conversation, but to have your wedding filmed as well, because we had ours filmed, obviously.
Yeah,
but
ditto.
we have my nan who isn't now here, your dad who isn't now here, and we can watch that, and they're walking around, they're laughing at the table, and you get that tiny little bit of them back, and just for 5 minutes you sit there going, oh.
And that's exactly what I was literally just saying. Everything on your phone now can be lost. You can go. But you've got that.
Yeah.
Me and Joe, we videoed our wedding. Sadly, I've probably watched it a pants load more than she ever has. I mean, she watched it once. But I love it, especially at the end where we're having the party, the disco live band, and you have exactly like you just said, you got grandparents there, and the boys, the nephews, were like knee high.
Yeah.
And now they're 24, 25 going on, and you're like, what the heck?
And like Ted, when he looks at it, and Tilly's 18 months old, and he looks at it and goes, well, where am I? And I have to say to him, well, you
Daddy
weren't
hasn't
there,
had
but
that pleasure yet.
but
The
this
milkman
is your
hasn't turned up yet, son.
But he looks at it and goes, wow, that's Tilly as a baby, and because he's never seen that side of it, has he? No. So he sort of sits there like, wow, this is really cool and like fascinating for him, really. So
Brilliant.
Anyway, going back to you, Darren.
Me?
Yeah. So
it's all about me.
What led you to this industry then?
What led you to where you are now?
It's a bit of a weird path, I suppose. Fundamentally, I failed miserably at school, as many kids do. And in reality, do you actually know what you want to do when you're at school?
What school did you go to, Dale?
I went to St Michael's in Garston. Yes.
I don't even know.
Back in Hertfordshire.
There we go.
Yes.
I think Mike Harper was from that way, wasn't he? And I gave him abuse about having that's where the plum in the throat comes from.
Well, Yeah, I probably shouldn't have gone from that area. I mean, Carson's just on the outskirts of Watford. So yeah, don't take I like that. So that's just brought it back down to reality. Yes, I can do the posh. Yes, doesn't mean I am. Yes, no. So I went to St Michael's, messed up big styley, had issues, was drinking too much. I at that point would probably deem myself an alcoholic. Simply, I was drinking for the wrong reason. I mean, I wasn't too young to drink, but I was quite tall, so I could get into bars and stuff. And in them days, again, it wasn't, it was frowned upon.
Yeah.
But you got away with stuff. But I messed up big.
Do you drink now, Dale?
Virtually no.
Right.
Because I'm 24/7. I haven't drunk probably for the last 8 years, 9 years.
I've never noticed.
I mean,
you
again, I do. I will drink. I know it's not like I cut it out completely. But generally, I don't bother, or I have Heineken Zero. Sorry, I'm allowed to do some trading.
Yeah.
But Heineken Zero is my beer of choice. So when I'm sitting in the back garden in the summer, and I can have several bottles of that, and I can still go out to a job if I need to.
Yeah. What we were saying is we can live without it, can't we?
Yeah.
If they banned it straight away, it wouldn't bother us in the slightest.
I think everyone could.
Shit crazy.
It's when the reality is it's that first initial stop drinking. But when my dad passed away, I actually said to Joe, because we had a bit of an argument about it, and me being a male and you can't tell me what to do. She said, you won't give up for 6 months. I said, rubbish.
Watch me.
I'll do 12 then. She went, all right then. I went, all right, 13. I did stupidly. Yeah, she played me. Absolutely played me. And I went, line of single for it. So I actually did teetotal for 12 months. And that was literally not having wine in gravy where they, literally no liqueur, chocolates, not a drop, nothing for 12 months. And it was quite a bring down on when I completed it. Because I did it for memory of my father. And I had a can of Guinness. So on his anniversary, so I actually extended it to, I think I did about 15 months because I extended it to his anniversary. So I opened this can of Guinness and I was expecting the world just to go, take him out and go, and just angels and fairies float around my head and all that lot. And he was just like,
I don't like it. Yeah.
And I give it a bit of my down, I pulled the rest away. Yeah. And ever since, it was like, you know what, I don't need it. It doesn't help me, it doesn't support me. It's nice on occasion, but again, I'm a little bit outward. So it's not like I need it to loosen me up for the dance floor or anything. I'll just crack on and do it anyway. You know, I
drink beer and lager, but do I really like the taste? I don't even think
I can't stand it.
If I'm really, really thirsty, it's nice to have a beer,
it's really
but
cold.
that's only because it's a chilling drink. Nothing to do with the taste. The taste does nothing for me.
No. Well, I must admit, I can't stand ciders, apart from Charrington ciders, based in Tunbridge, who are absolutely amazing.
See,
brilliant product.
I love a cider, but I get heartburn from ciders.
You won't on this stuff. Go to Charrington's, based in Tunbridge.
Should we get him in?
Other ciders
I can happily arrange it for you. He's a lovely guy, really nice guy.
Give us little samples and
I can sort
get the cider man in. Get him in here.
But again, I don't drink cider, but this stuff he gave me, absolutely beautiful.
We're giving it the old, you know what we can do about that? Get the cider man in. Get the cider.
So we just talked half an hour about not drinking, and now we're just going to get absolutely languid at the table. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. So no, I was stupid when I was younger, drank too much, learned valuable lessons. I think the biggest one for me, and I'm going to be deadly honest, I'm an honest person. I always am. I'm not scared of bringing any part of my life and all that lot. And my mum, I was working with some friends and family on a building site. So basically, when I left school, messed up big styley, stayed on and did on a business course, passed that. So I sorted my life out at that point. Passed that, went and worked for an insurance company, just in the office, selling insurance. The people were horrible. Absolute vile people they were. Loved the job, loved the business, loved the company, but the people were scum and they were bullies and horrible. And I ended up punching the boss. I wasn't actually going for the boss. I was going for one of the guys who was bullying me. I was that angry. I took a swing. He ducked and I hit the boss and knocked him out.
Oh my God.
Who was stood right behind him. So they knew I could have sued them to an into their lives for the way they treated me. So he actually took me in the office and we had a very good discussion.
Who, the boss?
The boss.
Right.
And he gave me 2 months' pay, released that day, covered my car insurance, and gave me an amazing reference because they knew. I then...
Can I ask what they did to you?
Anything and everything, because I'm dyslexic. So if I maybe get the name wrong, or someone phones up and says, "Oh, it's so-and-so," and I couldn't write their name as quick as they said it, and I might be looking for a file for a while, they'd take the mickey, spelling a word wrong or a name of a road wrong. I might miss out, like Peugeot. For a dyslexic, what a flipping nightmare.
Oh, God, I hate
It's a nightmare, that.
It's like pigeon, isn't it?
Yeah. You try doing that as a dyslexic. And of course, it's a Peugeot 205. I can do 205.
Yeah.
205 car. So bits like that, but they'd take the mickey out of my mum's name, my dad's name. I mean, Joyce and Alan. Yeah. How do you abuse someone over that name? They abused where I lived, because they lived in a more plush area. That's where I worked, in St Albans. It was just they're just nasty bullies.
So you were the one that came in and they thought, oh, fresh meat.
On him. And I was young. Yeah. I was young, no life experience. And this is what, again, the generations coming through now seem to forget, that we've all had these issues. We've all had to survive this. It's not new, where you get bullied and mistreated and people say horrible things. You have to find your own way, your own legs. Nobody's going to do it for you, and it makes you a better person. I survived.
Builds characters.
Yeah, exactly. And it's led me on to different stuff. And when I did that...
do you want to take it?
No, don't need to take that. When I left, I was punching the car roof because I was so happy, and I burst into tears on the way home, because it had just broken me so much. But some friends of the family took on a building company, just started it up and said, right, what have you done? Because at this point, I'm unemployed. And I said, I built Rabbit Hutch with Dad. And they said, oh, you're a carpenter. No. Yes, you are. They sent me to Oaklands College in St Albans. So it was quite pleasurable, because every day I walked past this insurance company and smiled.
And stuck your finger up.
As I walked to college, did my carpentry, learned how to be a carpenter joiner, joined their business. That unfortunately then folded after a few years. Joined another one, doing general maintenance, Tesco's and various, bit like Damo, doing all the maintenance in there and all that lot for a few years, and then went travelling, and best thing in the world. Went travelling, really found myself.
Where'd you go?
I did Fiji and Australia.
Lovely.
That's why me and Hayden get on so well.
Fair dinkum.
Fair dues, mate. Fair
Why
dues.
do you say that every time?
Fair dinkum.
Someone says Australia and you just automatically go into an Australian accent.
What do you mean, mate?
Yeah, so
Bit of a nut.
who did we have last? Oh, we had Damien last, didn't we? I think. But we spoke to Paul Wills. He did a lot of Australia.
Yeah. And I mean,
how long did you travel for?
I did a year, and that's where I met Joe. So I went halfway around the world.
So there are some downs
down the road.
There are some downs to it then.
Yeah, mate, gutted. Absolutely gutted.
Well, you two leave her alone. She's lovely.
So, listen, this is the best bit. Although knowing Tony, he'll probably record it going, hey, Joe, have you heard this? just suffer for 30 minutes and listen to 36.2 seconds in. But yeah, so...
wouldn't it be funny if that is 32.6 seconds in? But carry on.
Yeah. Well, at least I've got to get something right. The sign went at 7. But yeah, so funny enough, one of Joe's friends, so we were travelling independently at that point, and one of Joe's friends quite liked me. And Joe was quite, talk to me. In fairness, I was pure British loud. I was loud, Larry, and loving it. And of course, it was morning ladies, afternoon ladies, evening ladies. Driving her mad, and her trying to ignore me spurred me on.
Yeah.
And we bumped into each other in a nightclub in Fiji, in Sydney, in Coogee.
Wow.
Just, what was the chance? I wasn't going out because I'd had way too much Bundaberg rum the night previously.
So can I ask, when you were flirting with her, was it here?
No, that was in Fiji. That was a beach club.
Oh, right.
Manor
Okay, so you met her in Fiji and bumped into a nightclub in Fiji.
And then we, obviously, the paths then married up again in Sydney by complete accident.
Oh, Sydney. Right,
Yeah.
okay.
And you just so happened to live like half an hour down the
she
road.
lived in what's called the CBD, the Central Business District, in Sydney. So she had to travel all the way to Coogee, which is a good 30 minutes drive in a taxi. And I was staying at a hostel, Backpackers, place just down the road. So I'd had a skinful the night previously, wasn't really in the mood for going out. The boys went going out. So we went to this nightclub. Her friends dragged her out to this nightclub, and that was it. We talked about nephews and everything else, and that was it. That's our start for our life. But she lived here. She lived in Kent. So I then obviously packed up what jobs I was doing in Hertfordshire.
Oh, so you moved to Kent for her?
So I moved for Kent for her.
Oh.
Plus I could only get a 1-bedroom flat in in sort of Watford Garson area for a 3-bed house here. so hence the reason I lived in Strood, Western Road. But yeah, that was it. And then we've been together ever since. And she's just pushed me and pushed me on. And then during the recession, just as my dad passed away, and then the recession hit 2008, 2009, I was doing a lot of work on my own, the building side of it. I made my own little Darren Halton builders. And I worked a lot of New Ash Green, Hartley, and those areas. And it was all word of mouth. I didn't advertise market. It was all word of mouth jobs. I was getting loads. Recession hit. And I could get the jobs, I just couldn't put any money in. There was no money, so I was paying the bills, and that was it. I'm doing 16, 17-hour days. And I said to Joe, let's take a gamble. And I joined an agency. So for 3-4 days a week, I'd do my building. For the other 3 days, I'd do agency. And one day I met on site for Danny Hurd, who owned the franchise prior to me. And I just loved the science, the forensics, and everything about what he had to do on that day. He just captured me.
Yeah.
And so all my building experience, all my insurance previous experience, all came to fruition.
Yeah.
Moving into this job, and it just seemed like a natural transition.
Wow.
Just didn't know it.
Yeah.
30 years earlier.
Wow.
And that's why you've got to take every challenge that comes to you.
Yeah.
Every bad situation that is. Actually, the positives are made me a lot tougher, which meant I could be on the tools, because in those days, the tools, being a tradie, they were hard. So it toughened me up doing the insurance to then go on the trades and not be a complete wimp, which then built me up, but gave me the knowledge. So I was then able to do stuff around my own house, then doing my own business, then moved on to this. And then I worked with Dan closely from agency up until 10 years I owned the franchise, because he retired, unfortunately, and I couldn't bear to work for anyone else. Just had Arabella, and it was the job 24/7. So how do I make sure I'm at every one of her assemblies or activities and anything,
and still work at the same time.
I've got to own a business. And so again, me and Joe then took a huge gamble. We put everything on the line, absolutely everything, and it's still technically on the line. And we took it on. And then Brexit kicked in.
Oh, God.
And then COVID kicked in.
Yeah.
And then the recession kicked in. And so for the five plus years we've owned it, we've had it all thrown us. But guess what? We're still here.
We're still here, yeah.
Still here. I've still got the team.
Yeah.
Still got Clive. Still got Matt. Still got Gillian. And I've still got Meg. And then I've got my wife doing the accounts. And then I've got brilliant people like Phil Monk, who just tried calling me. I've got so many other...
He's not that good because you put the phone down.
Yeah, no, funny enough, well, congratulations to Phil. His daughter's just had a baby, so he's a grandparent.
His daughter's just had a baby.
Yeah,
right.
so, but I know he'll want to talk forever. But he's my French polisher. He is absolutely amazing, my French polisher.
Polisher, it's just possible you could save my life. Do you remember that Yellow Pages advert?
I do.
Hello, wax polishers or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just possible you could save my life.
See, Rachel's looking lost.
Yeah, it's an advert. This geezer has a party.
Hartley.
Oh, I know that one.
It is rather old. J.R. Hartley. Oh, my name. Oh, yes. J.R. Hartley. And I was right about that saddle. That's the other one, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Saddle's like a razor blade. Anyway, so this one was Yellow Pages. This kid had a party around his mum and dad's house, all his mates, and someone had scratched the table.
Yep.
And then he gets on the phone. Hello, French polishers. It's just possible you could save my life. And then they come and repair the table. And then he looks up and there's a face being drawn on one of their pictures as well at the end.
As mum and dad get home, he's got no chance of recovering it. See, kids, that just proves it, right? We invented house parties, not you lot. Yeah. We destroyed them first.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I remember the Yellow Pages. But no, Phil he's the sort of guy that will walk into a house and he'll look at timber frame on the ceilings and all the rest of it. And he'll go, oh, that came out of a boat from the Apes fleet. Oh, and there'll be a number up there. And he'll tell you the history.
Wow.
He can find the numbers on them. He can tell you the nooks and cracks. And what you think is just a split of the wood, it's actually not. It's something they used it for storing arrows or, and he'll tell you the history. But it's just absolutely, what he doesn't know is absolutely amazing. He's amazing.
Have you ever been hurt on any of your jobs?
Touch wood? No, I don't think so.
See why I laughed?
Why?
So you mentioned wood. Sorry, carry on.
Because I'm a carpenter and a French polisher. Get it. Get it. Yes.
I meant erections.
That's it. Yeah, I didn't get that.
I laughed because he said touch wood and he touched plastic.
Yeah.
We're all laughing for different reasons.
But you know what? What a beautiful conversation. We're all laughing. It works.
Just none of it makes sense.
You don't always have to know what each other's doing, but you can still enjoy the moment. Love it.
Oh, God.
But I don't know what I was saying now. What was I saying?
Oh, have you ever been hurt on any jobs or anything like that?
No, I mean, I've had the general injuries, the life cycle of injuries. I mean, playing football, smashed up my foot, done my knee, put my back out. I've torn up my shoulders through where I was plasterboarding the ceiling. I slipped and the drill and screw went behind me and I tore all of my tendons back here. So it's taken years to rectify myself, but I see an osteopath twice a month now and he just keeps me in check.
Yeah.
So gone are the days of, 10 years ago when I literally got out of the car, sat on the driveway for half an hour because I couldn't even physically get in the house.
Yeah. Can I ask about your shoulder? Is it hurt when it goes above sort of shoulder level?
I'm good now. I can do everything with it.
Because I've had a shoulder operation. I've had a shoulder operation on each.
Yeah.
Right. And the only thing that sorted me out, lateral raise. Do you know what a lateral raise is?
No.
That one.
Oh,
in the gym.
Yes, I don't go to a gym.
Fair enough. Okay, that's that conversation done.
This healthy stuff makes you injured, you see? Doing the gym makes you injured. Being healthy makes you injured.
That helps me out big time.
Good. Well, it's each for their own. I mean, my injuries healed on their own. I mean, it was when I was playing football and I went in for a tackle and that's when I smashed up my foot. And I did nothing about it. I was, young lad. I'm hanging off. That'll be right. I'll lob it off for 6 months. It'll be fine. And generally I was until 2 years down the road when I was asked to dig some footings.
A man turned up with a bag saying, "Is this your ankle?" He's been to the shops with it.
Is your ankle, your toe?
What am I going to do with this?
But I put my foot down on this shovel and the pain shot up my kneecap. Almost felt like it blew my kneecap out. And I was on the floor, blacking out, immense excruciating pain. And basically what it was I just hit the sweet spot of the old injury. So I'd obviously broken foot, fractured my foot, and I just let it heal, and I'd obviously redone it. Went to physio, and he said, "What do you want me to do about it?" He said, "You destroyed it years ago. I can't do nothing with that." And so it took another 2 years to be able to do much with it. I mean, I was still working and stuff, but but of course it threw all my joints out. My kneecap was rubbing the wrong way, which then
twisted.
So I suppose whatever the breakage was didn't align properly.
No. And it threw me all out. And of course, then they were just drilling a board. And again, it's the stupidity. So I'm very much about businesses can only take so much responsibility. Intelligent people actually have to take a lot more responsibility.
Absolutely.
There's only so many ways you can say, right, when you screw into a board, you have to do it like this at that speed and this angle. Otherwise, you might hurt yourself. If you're going to go like that and then slip forward because you haven't actually looked at the ladder and looked at the unit that's right in front of you or overstretching, that's on you.
That's you.
That's out of you. Suck it up, shut up, and get on with it. But in fairness, I did finish the day out and I did complete the ceiling.
Oh, well
and
done.
then you went,
The next day, I couldn't actually, I was like that the next day. But, so I've done numerous injuries. But with Rainbow, none. We've actually, and it's quite weird because you know how you're meant to have the accident books and you should expect at least 1 or 2 injuries and ailments
or near misses. Do you have near misses and stuff?
Do you know what? We don't. This is the weirdest thing. I mean, I'm not saying we're perfect and I'm not saying the guys
touch that wood again, mate. Touch that wood.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, plastic. That's wood. God. Is that wood? Okay. But yeah, so I'm not saying we get told everything, but we have reported like one of the guys went into a loft and got stung by a bee. Straight away. Get back in case you have an allergic reaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want it signed in a book, blah, blah, blah. So anything that does occur that we were aware of, you sign in. But the reality is, not much actually really happens if you have intelligent people who take responsibility for themselves. If you've got an idiot who can't think for himself, they're going to hurt themselves. So it's one of those. But no, touch wood, again, I'm liking this wood today.
You've got a story about bees, isn't it? Well, more wasps than anything. Do you remember when you were still around your mum's? I think you were still around your mum's.
No, I had Tilly. We were around there because she was looking after
But we was in your bedroom.
Yeah,
you still
we were in my old bedroom.
She still has a bedroom at her mum's.
Really?
Just in case,
Just in case.
She's there all the time.
I was going to say.
Anyway, so I can't remember what happened, but you could hear something in the ceiling, couldn't you?
Yeah, because it's in the loft. My room was like the loft, and they had eaves, I think they call it. No, they had like a tiny little loft and eaves down the side. And from the loft, all you could hear was like this scratching. And I went, what the hell is that?
And I said, let's have a look. So I had a look and I can see these little legs. And I said, oh, look, that must be one of those beetles that just eats through things, you know. I said, that'd be really interesting to see if we can get it out. So
tight. Then there was a tiny little gap.
Yeah, you could just see these little legs. And I was like, look at that. It's something, we'll get rid of that. Anyway, so I scratched it away. And then just loads of wasps start coming out of this.
So I ran.
Run. So we ran out the bedroom.
Shut the door.
And I said, I need a Dyson. I need a Hoover. Sorry, not the other Hoovers are available. This happened to be a Hoover.
Like sharp.
This happened to be a Hoover that you could see the contents, right? You know? So I burst in there like a Ghostbuster, sucking all these wasps up, stuck it on the hull.
Yeah.
Oh, no, didn't I cover it up with something?
Blue tack. You covered it up
No,
with blue
that was the end result,
Oh.
blue tack. And I've steamed in it and I've put it on the hull. And, mate, you look at the Hoover, you could just see it filling up with wasps all the way to the top. It was unbelievable, wasn't it? And I was like, oh, we could just get me some blue tack, get me some blue tack.
So we had to just fill it out, and then someone had to come in and do all the wasp stuff, and it's horrible.
Wicked
Love
story, honestly.
It was the way
it was just the way it just
it just pushed me out the way.
Like, within 1 minute, this Hoover had just gone
filled up
with wasps.
God. Scary, isn't it?
But you just went,
Because you deal with pest control as well, don't you?
We do, alongside
Which something my dad used to do once again. He should have worked for you. He should have worked for you.
Yeah, I'm loving this. Yeah, no. So we it's a new venture. I mean, generally we again in the basics of what we do as a job, we cover everything, and we've had a touch of pest control for years, bed bugs and various things like that. But we've moved into rat boxes and installation on that side of it now as well. So yeah, I'm moving up on the pest control. I do quite a lot of damp surveys for local people, local businesses, just to support them as well. So they're normally advertised on Facebook by all accounts, I believe. I've actually got a lady I'm dealing with today. I've got to make a phone call because her son has got a bit of black mould and a damp in the bedroom. Talking of that, yes, I'm coming around yours.
So, we haven't got a mouldy house, by the way.
No, we've just got our utility room.
Absolutely.
Our utility room, we've got one of those tumble dryers where you collect the water in the door. And Rachel's just overdone it.
Let's actually go back. The room hasn't been decorated since the 1970s.
Your fault. So basically, Simon, what she's saying is it's your fault for a damp, mouldy house.
Mate,
8 years
honestly,
we've been there.
we did our whole house in 1 year. The whole house from top to bottom, apart from the utility room, which I have been on about doing
Have
for
you done
ages.
it? Have you done it?
Because you keep saying, don't worry about it. It's utility room.
Have you done it?
Don't worry about it. It's a utility room.
That's not the
Don't worry
question.
about it. It's
Have
utility
you done it?
Anyway,
No.
it's rank. It is a rank room.
It's brown.
I'm very excited to come and see it.
And Darren did a 10-minute thing about his business in a
I
local...
don't know where. A 10-minute thing doesn't sound good.
Finish
Presentation.
it off.
It was a presentation.
A 10-minute presentation about his
For my
business in our
business
local networking group
yes.
that we do. Which
Called
is,
Synergy.
yes, BNI Synergy is our network.
Amazing team.
It's very good. Yeah, it is good, actually. We made lots of friends and we make some money out of it because we all look after each other. Anyway, so Darren did his 10-minute presentation and spoke about mould. And I was like, oh, God. You mentioned that when you clean mould, if you don't clean it properly, it's like Sand People, Tuscan Raiders.
That's it.
They come back, but in greater numbers.
Rachel's lost. Oh, Rachel, you're so innocent.
Young people in this podcast.
You are so innocent.
So
Unbelievable.
yes, mould is like Sand People. If you don't get rid of it properly, it'll come back
But
and
it's
in
so
greater
bad
numbers.
for you, though. It could, health-wise.
No,
health-wise.
No. Listen, don't jump on that bandwagon because...
But it's bad for your lungs and stuff?
Is it? So what do you breathe in when you're walking around the streets?
Mould.
There we go. So what's the difference between the streets and the house?
Mould.
Simon's there.
It's the volume of mould in your house. Now, in reality, everyone, it's dangerous for all sorts of people, depending on your health and everything else. And but in your home, generally, there'll only be a certain number of types of mould that you breathe in, day out, as you're walking around the streets. Every time you open your doors, your windows, it comes in. It naturally lives with us. But the way we have changed living has made it more visual, I suppose. Houses aren't as aerated as they used to be. They're a lot warmer than they used to be. We don't really have the log fires. Now, this is going out to any log fire sell shops, I'm looking for some sponsorship. But a log fire is an amazing thing to have in your home. If you can reopen your chimneys and get either a gas, a proper flame open fire.
This is coming from the bloke that deals with burnt down houses.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the extreme of warming your house. That's the extreme side. Obviously, if you could do it safely, please.
It's not open fires really as such, is it? I love an open fire.
Just an open fire is amazing because it heats the room totally differently. So with your central heating, all that does is it warms the moisture vapour. So it doesn't help remove the moisture vapour in your room. So if you put the rad on, you're sitting in your lounge, you get all nice and hot and toasty, you go, turn the heating down, getting hot. Turn it down within 30 minutes, you go, crap, heating up, I'm blooming cold. It's because it hasn't removed the moisture. The moisture cannot retain that heat. Whereas a flame will absorb that moisture. It sucks it out, basically, which is why it dries the atmosphere in that room. And then, of course, the heat is retained. And that's why when you have an open fire, you get nice and toasty warm for hour upon hour upon hour. So the reality of usage as well, again, everyone will say, but it's not good for the environment. It's not. It's actually not as bad as you think. When you balance it off from one to the other, how do we produce heat? Well, we use boilers. How do you boil it?
Yes.
Where do they come from? From factories, which electric. Blah, blah. Whereas you chop one tree down, that can last the family a month, 2 months, 3 months. And in the summer, you don't use it at all. So, it's that the old style living, I think, definitely needs to be reapproached. And adapted. So I agree with the new modern houses being very airtight and all that lot, but the reality is they're struggling now with obviously people's living showers and washing machines and utility room. Didn't exist in our day. You didn't have a utility room. You had a kitchen and you had a bathroom. That was it. So we're adding all these different moisture and wet rooms and environments and all the rest of it. People don't open the windows as much because it's nice and warm.
Yeah.
But we've got to adapt our living to the new building.
Yeah.
And maybe actually revisit old options and amalgamate.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being told off. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Unfortunately, the chimneys that we have these days don't carry smoke. They carry HDMR leads.
That's very true.
You can always get a tube and then hope. Retube it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But again, they've all been adapted. And the other problem, we go to quite a lot of older houses which don't have a damp-proof membrane, a damp-proof course around the chimneys because, again, once upon a time, fires were run 24/7. They were your heat, they were your food, they were your hot water. So they were open to the elements more than any other part of the house. But of course, the fire was always on. It kept all the dampness away. Now, we've still got chimneys.
With holes in the top.
With holes in the top that aren't used, that allow the dampness in and then go, why have we got mould?
Yeah.
Why have we got a damp house? It's sort of quite obvious when you really get into it.
It is. I'm understanding.
But there's a whole science. And this is what people don't realise is the training involved to do our job is massive because there is a massive, massive science and it changes constantly. So half of what I've just said now could actually be tosh. I get somebody ring up now and go, you don't know what you're talking about. Again, it changes like the wind.
So with regards to like asbestos and stuff like that, you have to be really trained on that. You have to be suited out,
I've
no
got asbestos training.
I know you have.
And again, I'd say it to my clients a lot, the risk is up here, reality is down there. Again, walking around the streets, you're breathing in asbestos, whether you like it or not. I mean, there are still huge open asbestos mines in various countries that don't have the same laws and legislations. And of course, where does it go? It goes up into the sky, up into the air, up into the atmosphere, travels around the world. So although we don't have that sort of situation, we're very regimented on it, others aren't. So you're still breathing in asbestos.
Most of our stars of yesteryear died of asbestos. Do you know why?
What did you say?
Most of our stars, our movie stars of yesteryear died of asbestos.
I do know. You've told me this before. Because
they used it as snow.
In the films.
Sprinkle it over their heads, the snow.
Yeah.
The sad thing about asbestos is it's amazing material.
Yes.
It's just its fibres are so small that they can stay in your lungs.
You obviously it's in big quantities in small environments that you would mainly get it. So if it was
Is it just me, or does that not make any sense?
It's in big quantities, but in small environments.
No, like if you had like a whole wall in a small house, you're probably more likely to get it.
Generally the ratio is of if you had this ceiling here, you probably got 1 meter's worth of asbestos. I mean, the spread is minute for the actual.
It depends
size.
on how old the building is as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and in hospitals and factories and places like that, it was used a lot,
everywhere.
but that was blue and brown.
Yeah.
Right.
In your domestic properties, generally chrysotile, which is white asbestos. So the scale is minute.
Yeah, so the only asbestos you'll really have at home is on top of your garage, corrugated sheet.
Yep.
And it used to be by the side of your bath. You know the thing by the side of your bath, which is now a plastic panel?
Yep.
They would have asbestos in. Your tiles on the floor, the old plastic type
That's it.
tiles on the floor, and your, sorry, Dale, I should be asking you these questions.
They're called thermoplastic tiles, not to be confused as Marley tiles, because Marley tiles is actually a brand. So a lot of people say Marley tiles are asbestos. Not necessarily. Yes, possibly do contain, but yeah, generally it's thermoplastic tiles. But it's also the bitumen that they were laid on. So in reality, the tiles and the bitumen weren't what we've now got as a damp-proof membrane, but they worked very similar. But they weren't actually for that. They were your decorative finish. That was your actual floor once. So that's and that was the best way of sticking them down. That was the reality of it. But they actually work generally as a damp-proof membrane. And too many people go and scrape it all up, put a new wood floor down, and go, "Oh, it's all wet and it's all cold."
It's because
you've just taken up the barrier.
So if you're in an old house and you're pulling your carpet up and you're pulling your underlay up, and then you see these stick-down tiles, leave them there.
Be very careful.
Leave them there.
Yes, get somebody who knows what they're talking about just to come and look. They can tell from a photo if you need to have them sampled. Now we do sampling. We can send them away for analysis, so I can do asbestos on that. I don't tend to do the removals, although funny enough, we got several companies we use that do the removals. With the white asbestos that generally is in your home, especially in the flood events where you might have a RTA ceiling collapses, generally the water stops because it needs the dust. It needs the dust, and that's what gets you. Plus, it's got to be the right size, the right weight to float around your mouth and your nose, and you have to take a real good lungful of air to get it into your lungs and everything else. Generally, that asbestos you'll breathe back out, you'll cough out, like your body does with general dust. So the reality is you've probably already got it if you do die from it, and it probably has got nothing to do with how you've lived or not. It's floating everywhere. There's no real option to avoid it.
It's a bit like Legionnaires.
It is.
It's just bad luck.
You can do your best, but who knows?
I'm a boiler engineer, so the likelihood of me having it more in an older boiler house would be greater than someone just walking down the street and going through it. But it's all pre-70s.
Yes, really. It is. It used to be.
Was it 85? All pre-70s. What is it? 85? No, but
60s, 50s, 60s.
The law was in about 1975 or something when you stopped using asbestos, wasn't it? I think
that's a lot later than that, mate.
Yeah, but there was. Yeah, they were aware of asbestos in the 70s.
So the blue and the brown got stopped about then.
Yes,
but then the chrysotile, which is the white one, in your domestic properties,
that's it.
Officially got really looked into in the 90s, and officially stopped in 2000. However, they didn't just go and destroy all the machines that produced all this stuff before. They just allowed 4 years clean through. So materials even produced up to about 2004 may contain asbestos.
Oh my God.
And you can still have asbestos. There's still asbestos in most places, like mills and production companies and anywhere but you have to have a register. You have to have a register.
Okay.
So you have to know exactly where it is, how it's been dealt with, and you have to, and when you find it, there's double bagging methods. God, I'm into asbestos.
Again, for those that are possibly thinking of dropping an RTA ceiling or lifting up floor tiles, it's not just a case of stick it in a bag, take you to your dump and dump it.
No.
You have to pre-phone the waste cycle place. You have to get booked in. You have to show them evidence of what your address and who you are, where you've removed it from, things like that.
Talking to the mic.
Sorry. You have to remove it from there. Is that better?
Well, I should have told you to talk into the mic about 3/4 of an hour ago.
Should we start again? But yeah, so it can be a real pain. And then they might even say, we're going to come and look at your house and see where you have removed it from. They can do that. They have the power to. And if you can't prove that you've removed it, you could get a fine. We've had a job where somebody was told by an insurance company to bag it all up and all the rest of it, take it to the dump, which they did, because they didn't realise it was an Artex ceiling, but they didn't realise. And unfortunately, this person put it in their car, their dad's car. So when I then went, took a sample, and they told me what they'd done, I said, "Oh God, don't do any more. Yeah, stop right now. Whatever you've used in this, put to one side, bag it up." I bagged it up, put it all out one side, all into the room. We then found out it was positive, which brings on to environmental issues, vehicles where it's been dumped. Luckily, it was all sorted, it was all clean. Yeah. It was all good. But it could have gone really, really bad. Sites exactly, because it, luckily it was what we call NADIS, so no asbestos detected in sample. Right, okay. But if it had been, there could have been a lot of problems. And it was a simple mistake. Yeah. Really easy, really simple mistake. And the reality is it actually a problem?
I've lost friends to it.
You have. But it's it's general living. It's all out there. So it's not necessarily for what
the problem with asbestos is you don't know it's affected you till 25 years, 30 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. So generally it's 40 to 60 years from having it contamination, and generally most people that will die will be the blue and the brown asbestos because they have barbs, and that's what sticks into your lung. And your body can't get rid of it.
Am I thinking of is it
Chrysotile is the white one, and that's quite a smooth.
Yeah, then Amosite, and I can't remember the other one.
Don't test me, no. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me.
A couple of dyslexics trying to work out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. The old brain's going ticking over.
I feel like the other one's got a D in it. D starts with a D. I might be wrong. Chrysotile and Amosite, and so then there's another one, mate, in there. There's another,
I've got to look it up now. I've passed all these exams and I can't remember.
Do you want me to ask my phone?
Yeah, ask your phone. What is it?
I don't know.
What are you going to ask it? What are the types?
Look, Joe Rogan gets his mate to put stuff on the computer all the time.
I think there's about 8 different types out there.
What are the 3 types of asbestos? I even forgot what we were talking about then.
The 3 most common types of asbestos used were chrysotile, amosite and crocidolite. Asbestos fibers can easily become airborne when disturbed. This can happen during use of asbestos products, mining for asbestos, or during normal job duties in industries where asbestos was used.
Learn something new every day. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Very clever young lady. So there's no D in there.
No, there's no D at all.
Unless it's one of the 8, I don't know.
But yeah, so it's so that aspect. So again, with the mold and with the asbestos, they're really scary words, and the world has made them to be. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying in reality, you've got to be a bit sensible. They're all around us. It's happening. You just got to learn to deal with it. I wouldn't want anyone to suffer with it. So you've just got to be sensible. The trouble is, but like we just said, by the time you actually get the symptoms, generally, it happened years and years and years ago.
Not much you can do.
And if you think living in the country a bit will avoid you from it, it comes from the mountains.
Yes, it's worse.
It's in everything.
They used to do tours in Wales, I believe, tours of asbestos mines. And they used to go, look at all the little fibres. They used to scratch it and say, look, all the fibres as they fly into the air.
They grow in stones in between the nooks and crannies of stones.
So you can't avoid the stuff. It's part of life, unfortunately, Rach. Life finds a way.
Life finds a way. Oh my gosh, we're going into the Jurassic here.
Finds a way. Right. Anything else, Dal?
No, I'm quite satisfied. I think I've bored everyone massively.
Oh, yeah, ages ago. Ages ago.
At least what I love about Simon, he doesn't hold back coming forward. He never has.
It's good. Enjoyed having you, actually.
Thank you.
Really should we have him back? Maybe if we need the ceiling doing.
Well, we're doing this is part
is that
one,
all on
isn't
Worth?
it?
Part one
This
of what?
is part one of his.
Listen, I bribed you. I brought gifts. I expect.
He did bring
He bought gifts. He got you. What did he get you?
A heat bag, where you put it in the microwave.
Oh, you love them things.
So
And it's rainbow.
And it's a rainbow.
And it's a rainbow.
And you got 240 little games on a mini arcade machine. Because I know how bored you get. So much time
if
on
he's
your
on
hands.
his meeting.
If I thought about it, I should have played it while you were talking.
Could have done. You could have done.
I'm only joking. Enjoyed that. So
And
you act under a different name, didn't you? George
Yes,
James.
George
is it?
James.
Now,
is
do you
what I
use? Did you get the James from where you got your school from?
So the story on my George James is that my granddad on my mum's side was Jim, also known as George.
Dave.
Dave, Fred, Steve. James. And my nan used to call me her little Georgie Forsher. So I grabbed the George from Georgie Forsher and James from Jim.
Oh,
That's what I was meant to say, yeah. Yeah, and that's how it came about.
Good.
So, would you push Arabella into this?
Would you
into
push
this?
her?
No, into this industry, like the acting industry, or because
I'd allow her to touch, but I wouldn't want her to be in it too heavily because it destroys too many kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit here, there, and everywhere, and get a taste and flavour. But yeah, that I wouldn't push anyone into anything. No, I mean she's a free spirit. She very much like her mother.
Yeah.
So she decides she's going to do something, but she's very good at doing a ballet, a dance, tap, and she works with a little community group of called Zappa.
Oh.
But
Yep.
a lovely lady.
We're getting there.
Zoe.
Yeah.
We're getting Zoe in.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Her dance school is absolutely superb.
And we shoot for Zoe as well.
Beautiful,
So we've got
yeah.
a couple of shoots with them.
They're
this year.
amazing. And Arabella's confidence and just general dance ability is just absolutely massively improved. In she's been doing it 2-3 years now, I think.
Oh.
Zoe's superb. All of her guys are. Drew, young lad in there, he's brilliant. He's done a few theatre productions as well. We haven't seen that. So yeah, if anyone is looking for a little dance school and group on a Saturday or during the week, Zoe from Zappa, absolutely.
What do that kids use? JMC? Is that right?
JMS.
JMS.
James.
Yeah.
JMC.
JMC. I
That's
don't know
it.
what that is.
But yeah, so she goes there. But again, she knows I do a little bit. I mean, I was Father Christmas twice this year, as you know, as you saw me at
Very
Club
very-
Awesomes.
A very posh Father Christmas as well.
Hello, young children.
Merry Christmas,
Please
everybody.
do take a seat. Well, the
Very
trouble
high
was,
pitched. You're like, ooh.
I had to swing it away from my daughter realising who it was.
Yeah.
Because she
course.
knows my voice. So I had to
Yeah.
try to figure out, how am I going
Did
to do this?
she actually have a photo with you as well, didn't
Yeah.
she? And she didn't work it out.
Not for a while until she saw my dark beard behind the nice white beard. And went,
Are
did
you
a
Hulk
double take.
Hogan?
Yes. She did a double take and then figured it out because she's not stupid.
Yeah.
And then I was Father Christmas as well for the Zappa, and the beard was really, really good and it covered everything. And yeah, she wasn't sure until her and her friends saw me,
Saw and
obviously,
went,
taking the beard off, and she
Yeah.
went,
Obviously, because
Daddy!
the real Father Christmas hasn't, just in
Well, he
case,
can't.
people listen, the
Yeah,
real
he can't.
Father Christmas hasn't got time to do this. So
not
we
all
have-
of it, not all the
No.
events. No,
not
he
all the
can't come to
events.
all of
So Father
He
Christmas
gets
asks
helpers.
people
He
like
needs-
Darren.
Yeah. He
to
supports,
do
doesn't
this.
he?
Yeah.
Like we all do.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we figured out as well with the elves. See, everyone always thought Father Christmas is the person that comes down the chimney, delivers a... It's not. See, what actually happens is the elves that you have, the elves on the shelves, they obviously get to know the children. They get to know what they want and how to annoy mummy and daddy with presents. So what they do is they obviously communicate with Father Christmas. So that's why they have to go on Christmas Eve. And so as Father Christmas delivers the first half dozen packages, he then has a bit of room on his sleigh. So the elves then take the presents down and then they get back on the sleigh with Father Christmas and head back. So he collects them as he goes.
Oh,
We never realised that.
I've wrapped our elves off to ship them back to Father Christmas before, where our kids have been naughty, and then they're like, "No, we'll be good, we promise." And so they stayed with us.
But yeah, so I never knew. So it's actually the elves that come down the chimney. Because
we don't. We have a
Father
magic
Christmas is
key,
too
don't
old.
we?
Thank
too
you
old
both
now.
for informing us of that information.
Sorry.
I learned it only this year. See,
Did ya?
40 years of life, and I just found that out.
Well,
Amazing.
you know, it's funny how he started employing those elves about 5 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I don't remember
needed
them when I
help.
was growing up.
No.
Brexit and
Yeah, but again, Father Christmas has gotten older. He's reached out. He's adapted his whole, like the world has adapted. You know, you can't
franchise
just hold it all,
now.
he's franchised. He can't hold it all to himself. The world, there's a lot more people in the world and too big a world to deal with now. So he's had to do this. That's why it's changed.
Branching out, like in industries.
It's great.
So I reckon give it a couple more years and Mrs. Claus will be out as well. She'll be heading out of a night time as well.
What, clubbing? Or?
Well, who knows? Who knows?
Well, she spent most of December making biscuits, so I think
You want to talk in the mic? It's echo is out when you don't talk in the mic.
So you don't know how to use the camera. You don't know how to use the mic.
Every podcast.
Sure you're
Every single podcast. Talking to the mic. They're going to think I'm the most miserable person on earth. I'm just trying to give them. I'm just going to try and give them a quality.
Sorry, we don't.
You are.
I'm trying to give them a quality experience here, and you may as well face the other way.
But it's hard to have a conversation with you like this. Do you want me to have a conversation like this then and completely ignore you, but talk into the mic?
Now you're just being silly.
Just take it as a criticism. No.
Yeah. Take it as a
Simon's
criticism.
saying just make sure it's near your mouth and take it. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. And that's never worked before either. She turns away then as well.
Side mouth.
Won't fit in my mouth. Anyways, end it on a nice note like that.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
So Rainbow Restoration's here to restore so you guys can recover.
And let's get some information. How do they contact you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, let's get some information. How do they contact you?
Well, we're online via telephone. So 01634 843 777 is the landline. And we're based down in Rochester. But if you go online for fire and flood restoration, Rainbow, you'll find us.
And what is your reach?
My reach is wherever I need to go to help and support. And if it's out of my immediate zone, I've always got other franchises that I can pass you on to.
Okay.
So we cover all of England.
Wow.
There's not anywhere we don't well, we're in different countries as well. You know, France. I'm in France.
Yeah, I just meant your franchise.
Yeah. But I don't mind holidays. You know. Belgian floods, I'm happy to pop over. It's fine.
Didn't see you rescuing them kids out of that cave.
Yeah, I won't go that far. I haven't got enough DMs.
Right, Will, cheers, mate. Thank you.
Oh, fist pump.
you.
I can't get to you because I can't get away from the mic.
Sorry, Simon. Sorry.
Sorry. Any other businesses want to come and visit, tell us their story, you're more than welcome to.
You get a free cup of coffee.
You get just the one.
Just
Everything
one.
else you have to pay for. No, so it's cherrywoodpro.com/podcasts, and there's a little message thing there. You can send us a message. I'm rubbish at sending ourselves. Just send us a message. There's a thing there. What's it called? Contact us, and then you can either ask to be on the podcast, sponsor the podcast, which is really good at the moment. Get a lot of people wanting to sponsor the podcast, so get in there while the price is low.
Hot.
I was going to say, I feel there's a nudge, wink, wink on that one as well. I'm not getting out of this without paying out.
Oh, hello. Do you want to?
Yeah, here we go.
That
Here we
didn't
go.
even compute.
I knew it was coming.
Do you want to sponsor the podcast?
I would happily do.
Don't worry, you'll get the email of thank you for visiting. Thank you for being a guest. Oh, do you want to sponsor it?
And for all the listeners, I can absolutely categorically say these two are amazing. I've seen, I've witnessed some of their videos and weddings and various other presentations, and really know their stuff. So if you've got anything coming up, absolutely 100% use them.
Aww.
Absolutely amazing. And Rachel's quite attractive as well. Simon just is the baggage, but you know, so choose which one you want.
Oh, saying that. Oh, I shouted right down the mic then. Rachel, got a thing to tell you.
Do I need to be here for this?
I don't
We're going
know.
to start a shop soon with little bits in, but
Yeah,
I
I know
think we could get Rachel to do a calendar, don't you? And she could do a
Okay.
calendar based on different firms. So if a firm wants her to do a calendar,
I like this. So she'd be holding a hot water
or she'd be wearing a
rainbow cushion.
wearing a rainbow international
Rainbow,
shirt with
yeah.
a bit of, because there's a bit of a
Are you about to say
following for you.
cleavage
Whoa.
hanging out
What are you
there?
gonna
Hang on,
say?
where are we going with this
Yeah.
marketing? I mean, I'm not saying I'm against it, obviously.
It can be subtle.
You're
Just
saying
one nipple
sex
out.
sells.
No, I'm thinking.
I doubt that.
We get a lot of people saying,
Not
we
Simon.
get a lot of messages going, oh, actually, she's quite hot. She's quite
No,
hot.
you don't.
None of you have seen her. None of you have seen her naked. It's a different story. It's got 3 tits. No, sorry.
No, carry on, Rachel. I need evidence here. She just started. Now she stopped.
So if you think it would be good to get Rachel to do a 2025 calendar, you pay for a month. A company can pay for a month where she wears your uniform. The top half, everything else is stockings. Oh, no, this is quite seedy. But no, if you want Rachel to do a calendar,
noticed then.
Yeah, if you want Rachel to do a calendar, I think it'd be a laugh, didn't you, Rach?
I have no say in this whatsoever.
No,
it's your body, darling.
No, and at Christmas, obviously, Mrs. Claus.
There we go, Mrs. Claus
With a
is
tray
coming
of
out.
biscuits. There you go.
Yeah.
And
Mrs.
cleavage.
Claus can sponsor you, for 1 month, December. Mrs. Claus go, do.
No, April. She can sponsor for
December.
April.
Yeah, there you go. So if any companies want Rachel to dress up in their shirt, you have to pay for the month, though, the month of the calendar. And then we'll give you a couple of calendars for free. I think it's an amazing idea.
As long as, can I put something in there?
Rainbow
as long
International?
As you don't do any Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. I promised I won't use my Wi-Fi.
I don't want to see any Wi-Fi from you.
You
no
mean
Wi-Fronts only and any of that dressing up.
Oh, no,
from
that's
you.
2026.
There's lady business.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. We've got to save it for the following year.
If you ladies business owners want a male version,
Exactly, there we go, you see. That's where I was going.
we can have a male one and we can have a female one. And let's see which sells the most. I know what's going to sell the most, but my mum will buy mine.
I'll be giving them out as Christmas presents.
Oh, God. Yeah, good luck being I.
This always happens, doesn't it? We say thanks, we end the podcast, and then there's another 10 minutes of bullshit afterwards.
Well, I'm still waiting for the bacon sandwich coming up from, let's give Austin's Eatery a quick shout out on that one. Brilliant supply of food and absolutely amazing food. Superb.
Yeah. Austin Eatery are going to be a takeaway thing after hours now. So he's doing some mean burgers.
Oh, they are
and I'm
good.
trying to talk him into coming up because I just want to eat his burgers.
The food is amazing. Anyone who hasn't been to Austin's Eatery, please do. Where are they located?
They're located in Station Road, Strood.
So when they come up here and do a podcast, you can then go down and have a breakfast.
Yes, Austin's Eatery are the main supplier of coffee for us here.
Explains why it's so nice.
Yeah.
Well, at least you took your own cup down this time.
Yeah. And we're still talking after we've said bye. That'll do.
Right.
Take care, everyone.
God
It was
bless.
me.
Thank
Actually,
you.
it was me. It started the conversation
You
up
did.
afterwards
Yeah, you
because I
did,
don't
yeah.
promote anything of ours.
And
Terrible.
you're still going.
I'm still going. So bye, everyone. Thank you. See you next
Bye-bye.
time. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Always end it with a yeah. This podcast has been brought to you by Snug Dubs Camper Van Hire.
Roam the world, park anywhere.
That's snugdubs.co.uk.